Before this video starts, I'd like to say that I'm not the most qualified to make this video. However, I have posted a volume of my own manga, and I feel like I can provide some helpfulness to everyone watching. Have you ever wanted to start making manga / comics / whatever, but you are scared of doing things wrong? Well then, hello. Nice to meet you. I am a person who likes mangas and just so happens to have created a manga and has made many mistakes in the creation of it. One of those mistakes being when I first started my manga, I only had around 3, maybe 4 characters, a starting area, power system and ending in mind. This isn't exactly bad, but you know the setting, it was meant to be Cree. But by the end of the second chapter, I decided, screw that, I want to do a fantasy manga. So I quickly rushed and made a whole different world than it was supposed to be. Luckily I didn't reveal the location names until I finished making the new world, but it still had an impact, like some of the places having basic, boring design, and the culture of each place not being too thought out. And this was all a result of my very bad planning and my impatience. If I had just waited a little longer, I would have probably thought of all of the world more, made it better. However, another thing you shouldn't do is... I know after that whole section you may be like, but you just told me that your whole world building was made worse by not waiting long enough and blah 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 blah. Well, ignore that for a sec. Well, no, don't. But just pretend you're me. I've made a few characters. I've used up time in the night instead of sleeping, thinking ecstatically about how the story will go. I'm clearly ready, mentally I mean. And so I started making my manga. But imagine if I didn't. I just sat there, thinking and thinking about the story. Maybe I've thought of the world building more. Maybe I've thought of more character design. But eventually, my hype will die down, and so will yours. No, I'm not saying you'll dread making the story, but you most likely won't be as excited to make it. Or perhaps you will. I'm no expert. But yeah, my point is, there's a fine line between rushing and waiting too long. And I think I'd rather rush in and have improvised a little than not have started the story at all. Making a manga, comic, a story in general is very time consuming. It's hard work. So to have posted a chapter you've worked on for weeks, maybe months, just for it to get barely any read can be disheartening. This happened to me, and still does happen. Perhaps it's because I'm not marketing enough, my art isn't the best, or my lettering is terrible, but whatever the issue is, I keep going because I know when my manga's finished, maybe in a few years time, and I get little to no reads, little to no followers, the experience I've gained and the joy of creating a whole new world and story is worth much more than any views I could get. So in conclusion, start making your manga / comic / whatever you want to make. Because if you fail, you'll come out a better person than if you didn't start. Are you a writer who wants to make a manga or comic, but has little to no skill in art? Well, guess what? I do commissions for $5 per page, an extra $5 for any colored panels, and you can make me do the hard work of drawing your manga. Obviously, I'll need character designs and such, but that can be all handled in private. Oh, and I also do normal commissions, shoulder and above, which I call headshots because it sounds cool, and a full body character illustration, I can't see. So if anyone's interested, the link to my commissions is in the description.